Let's freaking roll, huh? Fireworks are rolling today. It's 4th of July. Welcome back to Rock and Roll Garage. If you're new here, welcome. Thanks for coming. Thanks for showing. Want to start messing with the rock here a little bit. What I want to do is clean up this wiring here as much as I can. I don't know how much I'm going to mess with this thing. This actually goes to this terminal block I have down here on the frame. This is a positive wire going up to the battery, and this goes to a fuse panel I have in the car that, you know, powers gauges and whatnot. And then I have a toggle switch, I think, to it for the gauges. I want to get rid of this stupid thing because I can't stand bringing this up here to this top post and tightening it. I just can't stand it. So I'm gonna cut this off and actually put like one of these kind of guys on there. I also need to shorten this ground cable. I use this in a pinch. Something happened to my ground cable. I don't know if the wire pulled out of it or what. And then I just hooked it up for the time being. And now it's been on there for about a year and a half. So that's how some things go sometimes. I also have an issue with, let me get my light out here. I have a plug wire that's pretty much been leaning on the header, but it's wrapped and I've got that safety thing over it, or that heat shield thing. Well, that doesn't do very good because I've had to actually tape up the wire because it's cracked. So if you actually see that front cylinder there, I'm gonna try to run that wire along that and then up under the header and then have it kind of tie to that. You'll see what I'm talking about when I get it done, so that it's no longer sitting on the header. I don't know why I didn't make that like that in the first place, but those are Taylor cables. That's the brand of the wire. They're 8mm. They sell a replacement single wire with 90 straight, whatever I would need. So I'm gonna buy one of those. Make it. Maybe I can walk you through that if nobody knows how to do that or whatever. It's pretty simple. But yeah, we're just gonna try to clean some stuff up, fix that wire because that's aggravating to me. And then maybe drive this thing around a little bit. I would like to change the oil on it because I like to change it at the beginning of every year. Hang along for the ride. Hope you guys enjoy. See you in a minute. Alright, so I got this cut to pretty close to the length I want, at least shorter than it was before. Yeah, that's just great, you know. People just blowing fireworks off and stuff landing on my garage. That's fine. Anyway, so you pretty much just want to cut as much off of here as possible to be able to fit up into here. And there's this tool that I've showed before. It's made by a company called Temco, I think, TH0007. I think I got this off Summit. Pretty much what you just do is you put your wire in there, you set it in the center of here, make it sure it's straight, kind of like that. I don't know if you could see that. And then you hit the top with the hammer, and it crimps the thing down on the wire, which works out pretty well because I've used this a decent amount of times. So let's do that. They are blowing those fireworks off. Check it out. Oh yeah. Just landed on my roof, please. Alright, so like I said, cut that to where it needs to be. Pinch this stuff in there. See how it's kind of sticking out a little bit? Look at that. Almost perfect. So I'm going to stick this in there and hammer on down. You guys are probably going to shake a pretty good amount. there you go. And we got a piece of heat shrink here. We're gonna slide over this guy, and I think did pretty good. Also crimps the back pretty well. And there you go. I'm gonna say I recommend just spending the money on one of these and buying one, because I mean, I don't see this tool going bad. I feel like this is a tool this thing feels pretty sturdy, and I feel like this is a tool you'd almost have for the rest of your life. I feel like even if the spring broke in this and you could still just, like, it didn't retract and hold in there, you could still get this thing to work. It's just better than, you know, having something and, you know, trying to hold it and hammer a punch into it or something. With this thing, you know, it's crimped properly. That's a big thing with wiring, is you want your connections to be good and tight. You don't want nothing loose or wiggling. That's how fires start. Obviously, this is a ground, so, you know, unfortunately, what we may lose is power to something. Definitely lose power, because this goes right to the block. But I will tell you, you know, spending a little extra money on these kind of things that you're probably going to have the rest of your life, sometimes worth it. So I'm going to pop this guy on. These people are going crazy with fireworks. To be honest with you, I never understood why people spend so much money on those things. I mean, you can spend $1,000 and, I don't know, buy something cool for your car. Anyway, so I got this guy all done, which looks pretty good. Got this red heat shrink, had some left over. So what I did was I crimped that on there, heat shrunk a piece from the copper piece to the actual wire base, and then I went over this with the heat shrink, so this like cover that I have on here would hold. Gotta be red so you know it's positive. Anyway, so that's gonna probably fit pretty good to our positive cable here. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Thankfully I got rid of that other stuff. We're gonna actually route this guy into here. I think he went up under here like that, and right. Well, look at me, I put the terminal on wrong. What an idiot. That's all right. So that thing's kind of out of the way. We can stick them right to there, and then we can also stick this guy to there. So I have a longer terminal because I don't think all of these are going to fit on here. I know I have an extra one that's the same length as the one on the white car. Maybe in this drawer over here, I'm not too sure. It is. Boom. So it's got a little bit of a longer end on it, so we'll stick that guy in there and be able to connect all our wires. So this little terminal guy won't fit, so we're gonna have to drill him out. Alright, so we got all those fitting on there now. Looks better than it did. Still kind of a little bit of a cluster in there. What I would like to do is possibly see how these are all loomed here. I'd like to loom this wire so it gets rid of the black, and then actually run it down to here. I actually have a black wire that's made for speaker wire. That was kind of just came in the kit. I actually have like a whole fuse holder and a nice big thicker gauge wire. So I probably will grab that and run that to the back amp. Gets a pretty good power on it then, which is good. So I'm done for tonight. I've had a long day. I'm gonna head inside. Tomorrow we may be working on the white car. I don't know if that'll be tomorrow. We'll see. But it'll be like 2 seconds for you guys. See you in a minute. Why are we staring down the side of the Iroc? Well, because I was, kind of looking at this. When I wrapped this car, I left the actual emblems on here. You can barely see them. The actual like Iroc decal. My car didn't have stripes on it, but I've always thought like, man, you know, you can't really see the Iroc anymore on it. So what I did was I went and bought this like cheap Iroc-Z thing off of eBay. So what I'm going to try to do is, well, first I'd like to see if this lines up properly. If not, what I am probably going to do is cut, you know, even honestly, if it does line up properly, it's going to be a little hard to kind of get it totally perfect. So what I'm thinking about doing is, since it is just like still kind of like poking out, I'm going to try to like actually cut those out one by one and lay them on there. Because I got black, I feel like, you know, that might be a little more of an aspect or whatever you want to call it that this car is actually missing. I feel like it just looked good with that on there. So I'm going to wipe this door down and see what we come up with. Look how dirty this car is. Jeez. But the wrap usually cleans up pretty good. They say you should have used alcohol, but I'm not going to be putting alcohol on the wrap because I don't want to destroy it. So let's see how close this is to lining up. It actually lines up, looks like pretty good. Because it's like, I just don't know how, yeah, these aren't really, I mean, it's pretty spot on. Looks like a couple of letters might be off. But like I said, I think the best case scenario is to do one at a time. So that's probably what I'm going to do. So we're going to cut one of these and see what we can do here. Now, like, the more I think about it, it'd be easier if you didn't have this on here already, because, like, you know, you could tape it up, line it up, and mark it on there, right? So that's kind of why we're doing it this way. So I have to peel this off. Gotta try and get all of this. There we go. Does it need to be perfect? Kind of. We're gonna go slow here. Kind of have to start these so that they don't peel up. Just nice and slow, kind of walk it on there. It's a little off. You'd honestly probably barely even notice. Let's cut the R out and see what we can do with that guy, huh? Ugh. Jeez, did I mess up that eye or what? That really sucks. That eye's going good. I just messed up the angle of it. I mean, the R is going great. I just messed up the angle of the eye. Dumb. Alright, so I got this other one. I really would just like to get this on there to see if I even really like it. So I'm going to time-lapse you guys and check it out. See what we think. that's what she looks like. Now, if you get up close, you can kind of see how it doesn't line up. Because, like I said, these letters aren't like the factory ones. But if we kind of go stand over here, I think that looks pretty good, man. I'm going to roll it for a little bit and try it out, see if I like it. Unfortunately, I have to order the other side. Best thing would be to actually pull this thing out and totally see what it looks like in the daylight. But honestly, I think it just adds that little bit more, like, you know, just adds a little bit more to the car. You know, you couldn't really see the Iroc-Z symbol before because it's under the wrap. Right now, I'm kind of thinking I wish I would have taken that off, and then I wouldn't have had to worry about that, like, it's sticking out. But honestly, like I said, from afar, you can't really notice. Just like almost you couldn't even notice the Iroc in it. So, underneath the wrap, I'm talking. So, it sucks that I messed up that first one. But whatever, I'll just order another one. Hopefully have it maybe by next week or something. And we'll slap it on the other side, and guess what? I'll have two so I can mess up. Like I did on this side. But yeah. The spark plug wire should be coming here soon. Couple things, honestly. I don't know if I'm going to get onto the white Camaro doing those pulleys. It should take 10 minutes. We'll try that. But I want to drive this thing, so I'm trying to get oil in that spark plug wire here. I'm going to be out of town for a few weeks. Just trying to fit things in here, so hang out. I think this looks great. Adds a little pizzazz, you know, a little more pizzazz. Looks good. Catch you guys here soon. All right, y'all, so we finally got the spark plug wire in, the one that was burnt up on the header. So we're gonna try to, I don't know why they came with two ends on it. You would think it'd just be a bare wire and you put your own ends on it, but I don't need this end for my cap. I actually need this 90-degree angle one. So I'm going to cut this end off. First off, I'm going to make sure that it actually will reach from the cap to the actual spark plug. Alright, so like I said, I want this thing to be able to go underneath this header to the plug and then come all the way up along this way. Oh yeah, we'll have plenty of slack. So I'm going to cut this, get it to the length, and then I'll take you over to the vise, and I can possibly show you how to crimp this thing on. Alright guys, so this is pretty much your spark plug wire crimping tool. This was actually one piece. I didn't know that. I've had this for years, and I actually split it in half, and now it's a spark plug wire tool. So pretty much what you're going to do is you're going to take the wire, and you're going to push it through this hole. And they've got these two little ridges here. And you're actually just going to take your razor, and I'm going to set it down on the table here. So you're just going to take your razor, push it in there, spin the wire in there. And then you should feel it kind of release. That might not be enough actually. So I'm just going to, me personally, I'm going to go down a little bit more because I like to have this overhang a lot more. Alright, so something like that, where it's a little bit longer. So then you're going to take this, and you have to wrap this guy down like that. And then you're going to take this, and kind of, you want that wrap part on the back side of this terminal. And I think they say you want about 1/8 of an inch of the wire, the actual black like rubber part, poking out of this other end. So I'm going to set this up in the vise, and then we'll do it in there. They say in the instructions that you want to kind of give these like almost like a 90-degree turn or like a little turn down in so that it kind of holds the wire in place when you put it in there, so you're not fumbling with it when it's in the vise. So, see how it's nice and tight in there, and I can take my fingers off of it. Just about 1/8 an inch over that, maybe a little bit more, but that'll be alright. So pretty much I'm going to show you in this thing here. You're going to want the back section of here on there's more of like a concave part, and then there's kind of like one with like a little hump in the middle of it. That's going to go into the center of this guy. So I'm gonna just put this on the vise, crimp it, and then show you after. I usually go until that thing's flat. Pull this guy out, and then realistically, it should be a pretty good crimp. Is it gonna come off? No. Pinched in the back. Could have maybe went back a little bit or up a little bit more, but honestly, that's not gonna go anywhere. So we're gonna slide this guy in the boot and shove him on. All right, y'all. So I've been wanting to install this PCV breather for a while. I don't know if it's necessary, but I have a breather on this side. I have a catch can on this side. And then, I mean, it's just the oil cap on the back. So, I was doing some research, and they say you don't want your PCV going to your throttle body. So there is a port underneath the stealth ram intake. Maybe I can get you guys under there and you can see it. It's sticking out of there somewhere. So I got the cap off of it that I had on, and either way, what happens with these vacuum caps after a while, they just kind of crack up just from the heat and everything. This one's pretty cracked up anyway. And then I pulled this other one off the throttle body. This one's cracked up too. So I do have to go get a hose, like a vacuum hose, fuel hose, whatever it is, doesn't matter. But the problem is that that fitting under there is like straight down and not like at a 90. So I may try to find like a union piece to go from, like, come down and then go over. I don't know. Maybe I'll try to swap that out with a 90-degree fitting, and then run this PCV, because my builder said that I should have this a while ago, but I mean, I haven't had any issues yet. But you know, you don't want excess crankcase pressure, like the buildup. You don't want that. So I would like to add that. I've been meaning to add that for a long time, and I actually just found this in my stash of parts. So yeah, so I'm gonna go run up to the parts store, get some caps, get some hose, and maybe try to figure something out here. Bring you back. All right, y'all, so I found this molded 90-degree hose, which is great because then I don't have to mess with taking that fitting out. And then I got this barbed fitting, I guess you'd call it, and then I got some hose. So I'm gonna cut that 90-degree fitting to length to have it come out the side there. Or maybe I can make it pretty and run it past the distributor so you don't see it. But either way, one side or the other, you're gonna see it come out. So we'll just run a little straight piece right to that breather on the corner of the valve cover. All right, so we got rid of our little billet oil cap. We now have a PCV with a nice little Chevy logo on there. And we got a catch can and a breather on that side. So if that's not good, I don't know what is. Been wanting to do that for a while, and I honestly totally forgot that I even had that. So when I found it, I was like, screw it, I'm doing it. So hopefully that'll help out a little bit with crankcase pressure. I don't know why I can't say that. Try to say that 3 times fast. Anyway, so next thing on the list for this guy is I'm waiting on the oil to come in for it, and I'm waiting on this other side, the actual Iroc-Z logo, or the emblem, because I want to do the other side. So they were supposed to be here today, but this guy never ended up shipping them, and then I had to message him and he actually shipped them yesterday. So I'm going on vacation for a week, so that won't be done till after then, unfortunately. So I'll catch you guys then. All right, so new day. It's actually been, from the last part of this video, it's probably been a week or two maybe. I went on vacation to Florida to see my pops and stuff, so had some other stuff in the meantime, but whatever. We're gonna get this oil changed on the rock here. Last part you seen was probably the breather that I did, or the PCV or whatever. So yeah, I'm gonna get this girl jacked up and slide a pan under her and drain that stuff. All right, got that oil filter dripping. We're gonna pull this drain plug out and hopefully hit the pan. Oh boy. On the gloves. Let that stuff drain, eh? We'll let this drain, pull that filter, and pop a new one in, and I'll see y'all up top. See that nice whammo in that pan? Glad it's a deep sump. Jesus. There's a little bit of gunk on the bottom of this thing, but nothing crazy. So that's good. Let's pop her back in there. So I always like to take a fresh bottle. I usually have a quart left over. I always buy extra just in case I need for top off. I like to pour about a half quart in there with the drain plug out, just to, you know, push if there's any junk or crap on the bottom of the pan. I don't think there is, but I just like to take a little extra care. When you spend this much money on a motor, you try to do everything you can for it. It's an engine. About half quart. Bang. That easy. We'll use some old boxers, eh? Some briefs. I always use a Wix. So Wix racing filter. Bigger one for the small block. It's a 51060R. I think these are like the truck size. My uncle was into racing. He ran circle track back in the day. He always told me to run a truck oil filter on the small block if you have the room, because you get a little bit more oil capacity, just in case. This thing's got a big pan. Shouldn't be a problem, but tricks of the trade, you know. Maybe it works, maybe it don't. Who knows? I will be filling this up. Also, why I like pouring that extra oil in there, because some people just sit here and wait for that oil to just trickle out. This way you pour some fresh oil in there, it pushes whatever's on the bottom there, and you got fresh oil on the little bit part of the pan. So then you don't have to sit there and wait forever for the thing to start dripping. So I'm going to go down there, make sure you check your filter or the actual spot where you mount it. Make sure there's no gasket on it from the old one, because then you're going to have a lot of problems. Just check that, not there. So we're going to pop that on, pop the drain plug in, come up here. We're going to set her down, fill her up, and bring her to life. All right, so we got everything in there and secured as much as I can do. So we're going to pour some oil in this girl. No funnel needed. Maybe. All right. Let's take a peek. Give her a wipe. I'm going to guess that she's not on the stick yet. If I remember correctly, this thing takes about 8 quarts. She's on there a little bit. She might even be full. All right, so what I like to do. Well, we're not starting it, so we don't need to put this breather on yet. So I like to just go around here, unplug all my injectors. Because then this thing won't get any fuel at all. And then we gotta plug in our ECU. All right, so we're gonna crank this guy until she has some oil pressure. Girl, sorry. Whoa. Filling up with some fuel. We'll do that one more time. Line's got some air in them. Let's move that red line down to about like 62. Out of gear. It's a mini torque. It should be fine realistically. Let's hope we didn't. I think it's coming up a little bit. There it is. Got some oil pressure. Anything come out of there? No. Do it one more time. So, got that nice and primed, so that I'm gonna guess that oil filter was pretty empty, because that's where the oil pressure, the pressure sensor's on the back. So, but I didn't fill that filter all the way up, but I put a little bit in there. I knew I was gonna do this anyway, so wasn't really worried about like I was dry firing it or anything. I always like priming it when it's been sitting for a while, even if I don't do an oil change. So I'm gonna check the oil, plug all this stuff back in, put some juice to her. All right, guess it's as ready as she's gonna get. Ooh. Key sitting on it. Check for some leaks. That puddle on the floor was from previous, some power steering fluid. Pressure looks real good. A little moisture out of there, eh? Alright, y'all, so it's running pretty good. I'm gonna give her a good old, well, first I'm gonna hit her with air, try to blow some of this dust off because it's pretty dusty, and then we're gonna give her a good old wipe down, so hang tight. Alright, we're gonna go for a little cruise. I gotta go practice for softball, so that's where we're going. What do you think? No Iroc on the side, or Iroc on the side? Ugh. Let's freaking roll, huh? Ugh. Put these in here. Start this thing off. Smears on the back window because I didn't use the right stuff. That's all right. Let's go. 180, at least that's what the gauge says, so that's good. First time I rolled the windows up in a while, eh? God, it's hot. It's hot, it's loud. Gee. Hello? Alright, y'all. We made it back. She did pretty good. She is making some noise in the rear, man. Like, even when I'm going down the driveway, it's like creaking. What I think it is actually the this thing has all polyurethane in it as far as like the lower control arms, and I think the panhard bar too. Those need to be heavily greased on the actual bushings themselves. So I'm guessing over the time since I've put them in and now, the actual grease has either dried up, worn off, or etc. So I probably have to get some grease for those. Probably help with a little bit of the noise. The lowering springs don't help the rattle it does, you know. The front end feels pretty good. And now, when I pulled in the driveway, you guys probably did hear a little tippy tap. Well, that is coming from... It's either the rockers or I got another lifter that's not too happy. So when I first had this thing, when I first got this thing running, I had a little lifter tap noise. Nothing crazy, no oil in the no metal in the oil. It's just that the lifter wouldn't stay pumped up. So luckily it was a roller, so the thing never actually, it wasn't like it was jammed. It was just like the lifter wouldn't stay pumped up, so the actual push rod was kind of just not bouncing around in there, but, you know, making some noise, because I went around and checked all of them, and I checked, like, set it at one point, like, set the lash on the one, and then you could see that it actually changed over time. The actual lifter wouldn't stay pumped up. So, and these were comp lifters. This was before we had, like, this is probably at the beginning when people just started having lifter issues, because I actually pulled the intake, pulled that off, or pulled that those lifters out because it was on those link bars, so I put two new ones in it. To me it sounds like it's on this side. Personally, I would like to throw a set of Johnson lifters in here because a lot of good things I've heard about those. And I talked to a guy at Johnson and stuff like that. He could probably help me out, but this, you know, I don't know yet, because it's, you know, it's some money. They're about like $800 for the set. Also, what I would like to try to do before that would be actually pull the valve covers, go through all the cylinders, and check the lash on the rockers, see if maybe they came loose over time. Maybe they have, you know, that'd be great. Do want to put a set of plugs in this thing because it just seems like it's a little spotty, but I mean, she was ripping. It cruised fine. It's just the rattles and the shakes. It just, I can't take it. It's so much of like a race car. It's like where it's like almost, there might be a thing where we turn this thing into a drag car. Like we take it to the drag strip and that's where we run it. I don't know. I kind of like having it for the street. I've talked about this before. I'd like to get the comfortability out of it. So maybe in the next few videos, we'll be doing something like that. You know, it'd be easy to pull the valve cover and just go through all the lash on them. So, Maybe we'll do that. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, for changing the oil and stuff, and a nice little first cruise for after a while, it wasn't too bad. No breakdowns or anything, so that's good. But yeah, that's where we're going to end it here. I am going to get the other side vinyl on here. You watched one side. What do you need to see what the other side is? But I think it looks good. I liked it. I looked at it from afar today. Really liked it, so that's what we're going to go with. But yeah. Pretty happy with today, except for that lifter noise. It's always been like that, but it's always irritated me. So yeah, we got a lot of stuff to do this thing, man. Just gonna take some time. So hopefully you guys are along for the ride. Hope you enjoyed that. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button for me. Comment if you liked it or what, or if you want to see more of it. But yeah, for now, take it easy.